our videos before, you probably already know that we are blessed enough to live in an absolutely gorgeous part of the world. And I hope that doesn't sound like bragging, because of course it's not like we have ourselves to thank for all this beauty. Lake Fontana is just a stunningly picturesque, quiet, nature lover's paradise in a peaceful wilderness setting. A person can breathe out here, you know? But there is one thing about this lake in particular that is debatably a downside, or at the very least, a challenge at times. And no, I'm not talking about the lack of phone service or how long it takes to get to the grocery store. I'm talking about the whopping 65-foot annual lake drop. This is about the time of year we start getting comments online and questions from visitors at the marina asking how long this crazy drought must have been going on. But rest assured, here in this temperate rainforest that we call home, drought is most certainly not the cause of this substantial decrease in our water levels. In fact, it's quite the opposite.
Alright guys, as you can see, these banks are down, the lake's down. I guess the banks are up, kind of like when you get your ears lowered when you get a haircut, if that makes sense. So the banks are up and the lake's down. So every year this lake will drop 60 feet, maybe a little bit more. They've been working on the spillway gates the last 2 years, so when they start dropping it at Labor Day, they get it down fast. It's pretty wild, and it's the only lake I've ever been on I've seen drop 60 feet. So everything gets adjusted, the marina gets adjusted, the boat houses get adjusted. Fontana Marina is pretty lucky. We're one of the only marinas that is year-round on the lake. The rest just shut down. They don't have enough water to actually do business. They drop it because this is a water reservoir. It's built to hold water in case we have floods. I've seen this lake come up a foot an hour, and it's 30 miles long, 239 miles of shoreline. They'll hold all the water back from every surrounding area. When it comes in here, we've seen it come up 40 feet in 2 days, foot an hour, 30 feet in 3 days. When it jumps, you got to be on it. You don't get much sleep, but it's part of it. It's a lake drop on purpose. It also keeps the lake real healthy. No algae grows on the shoreline. A couple of feet in the water, every time it drops, it kills the algae off. So it keeps the lake pretty healthy. Turns this lake into a different form of beauty. It's a whole nother world when it's down, which this year we're hoping will be the year of the bears. When the lake's down, you can actually see them before they go into the woods, the little black dots on the bank eating acorns, trying to get fat before wintertime hits. So.
As fate would have it, that very night we actually had the chance to see some wildlife on the bank right behind our house. But more on that in a bit. Alright, so Aiko and I are coming over here to our neighbor Chris's boat, house, whatever, to stay in the dock. Little side hustle time, you know. But I also just wanted to show you guys this house because it is thebomb.com. This is actually a build that Brandon and Jericho did. This was like back before, you know, I had a YouTube channel and all, so don't have any videos of it, but you can kind of tell some of the similarities. And they got this really cool sun deck, which will be a lot better once it's stained. But anyways, check this out. They built it with concrete pavers instead of wood on the dock, partially for, you know, obvious maintenance reasons. You never got to restain or worry about these rotting. But also, it just makes this thing built like a tank. And they really did that specifically because this spot that the house is in is on the very outer edge of our harbor here. And the reason that that matters is because this here is the main channel. And you can see even just where the wind line is there. The wind and the chop plus all of the boaters coming in and out of here make this like a spot where you'd have to have a house be really well built because it's going to get a lot of motion, a lot more than the rest of the harbor, which is a little more tucked in and protected. When Brandon and Jericho made this, they actually did the steel frame for the dock because this was back when the price of wood was just astronomical, and believe it or not, steel was more affordable than wood. So between the concrete pavers and the steel frame, it is seriously a tank. It's really cool how this one is built. Bear, what are you doing? What are you doing, you silly girl? You gonna hang out down here on the cool concrete? Plus, obviously, this one has the coolest feature, a sun deck up here that everybody always asks us why we don't have or do, which is complicated. But it is pretty sweet up here, and man, I just want to jump off that. Maybe I will later. If it were a perfect world and budget wasn't really a thing, this is totally how you would want one of these to be built. This thing is so ideal. Plus they've got enough solar here to power a small country. It's insane. So today I'm staining this whole upper deck, these stairs, and the columns and fascia boards. I also wanted to show you guys the stain that I'm using, because we got a few questions last time when I did Lowell's dock. So you know, a lot of outdoor deck stains tend to be that more like reddish kind of cedar tint to them, and that can look really nice, but that's not always what you're going for. So after we had done our dock, we had like 3 or 4 other neighbors ask if I could do theirs, because that was the shade that they were wanting but didn't know how to find, because it's pretty much impossible, at least in our experience at Lowe's, to find a stain that looks like what our dock wound up looking like. So anyways, I take a gallon of this semi-transparent stain and sealer, neutral base, and mix it with this Minwax Golden Oak 210B, 210B. 2 coats if you can.
She's eating you back. Oh, you got her.
Oh, it's up there. It's a, oh my gosh, it's a bobcat. Is it? Oh wait, yeah, it's got leg muscles. Whoa. Oh my god. Yeah. What the world? What's it doing out at daylight?
Good picture of it?
No.
You can't zoom in on
I
it?
I have it on video, but it's not, the zoom isn't good. Where did it go? Where did it go, Michael?
Up this side, and then we'll tighten up that side.
Is that time of year, baby?
I reckon.
All right, so we just loosened this side. That's about all we got back here, because this is about as far as we'll go before we just take these off. The back, or the front, becomes the back, and then those lines that are all the way out there will become the front. So we'll scoot out, because you know, all of this is going to become land in another month or 2.
So you pull on the cleat, this is holding it, and then you do that. And then with all that weight with the housing on, you're not worried about messing yourself up.
Instead of just holding it straight out.
This one's got the weight on it. Remember we hung those rocks off of it?
Yeah. This got a weight on it. For sure.
Dumbbell, baby.
If y'all remember back when diver Brandon was here, we dropped our excess mooring line down with a dumbbell on the end to give him a reference point for where the dock was while he was searching for our ladder and GoPro. Well, here soon when we switch the front lines to the back, we'll be needing that excess, so I went ahead and pulled it back up. And boy, it sure stunk. But hey! Honey, got our weight back. Now it's passable to get back here again for fishermen and for ourselves, because those lines were starting to get tight and get in the way of being able to boat through here. So the last thing we needed to adjust was our water line, which had begun to float uncomfortably close to the surface. And why is it doing that?
Because the anchor for the water line will float without a weight on it, even though it's full of water. So the anchor for it is sitting on the bottom, and in that case, it's trying to float.
Because the water has dropped so much.
Yeah.
Basically, we had to relocate the cinder block that was supposed to be weighing down our water line and move it back out to deeper water again. Land bridge exposed. So this is where I was snorkeling just like, what, 2 weeks ago? And this is where I was showing you guys just last week that we had, you know, our first couple feet of lake drop. So crazy how fast it's dropping. I know, we're getting there, Miss Bear. Here we are. The cut. So just last night, this was above water. I would say, what, we've maybe gotten at least a foot down now. It took me another couple days to finish out the stain job, and man were those last couple days tedious. As much fun as overhead staining is, all I could think about was finally putting a roller to that sun deck and, more importantly, jumping off of it. Y'all might be happy to know that in the meantime, we finally got approval for the modifications we plan to make next door at the cabin we're remodeling. We started making progress over there again this week as well, but sorry guys, I'm gonna save that for next week's video. Guess you'll just have to stick around with us. It's starting to get chilly in the mornings and evenings. I know Aiko likes it. That's all I'll say about that. Look at this. I was literally scraping the bottom of the bucket. But we did it. Check it out. left to do, isn't there? Oh yeah. Let's do it. Woo! Woo! Okay, maybe just one more time. And that's a wrap. Next week, we'll be taking a couple decades off our rusty old remodel cabin. Can't wait to share.